Chicago with the lead.
Court. Batista with the catch.
Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life. Hand down, man down.
Yeah, I can see how disrespectful he's being right there.
No, I went to Temecula and brought you some dirt.
Yeah, that's a technical.
Mama, there goes that man.
Mama, there goes this man. James Schmeitz here with you, with me, Kev Nevick, to discuss NBA Finals Game 2. We're going to break it down, discuss it all. But first and foremost, you may notice my partner's attire here. James is pulling double duty today, pulling the baseball coverage on top of the NBA Finals coverage. So why don't you tell the folks a little bit about what you did this evening, my brother?
So, Kev, sadly, I missed most of this game. I got back around right before the beginning of the fourth quarter. I was at back-to-back days, the Indiana State Regional. Indiana State hosted the NCAA Baseball Regional for the first time, I think it was ever. Like, I've got to dig into the archives, but I think ever. They're the 14th ranked team in the nation, and they won. They went 3-0. Friday night, they came back in the 8th. Last night, they came back in the 8th. Then they won, I believe it was 8-2 or 11-8 over Iowa today. They won the regional for the, like I said, first time since 86. And if things fall their way, they could possibly host. The Fayetteville Regional is behind right now because of weather, but Arkansas lost, and TCU is the undefeated team in that region. And if TCU wins, ISU would be the host next weekend. Now, there's some complications on it because the Special Olympics are in town and there's some other stuff. So I don't know if they'd actually get to, but they would be the higher seed. But we caught it. I got it all on Instagram tonight, but to see ISU sweep through the regional, it's a wild time out here. Like it's a historic season. I think they're at 45 or 46 wins. It's the most in Hannes' head coaching history, and it's the most since I think 86. It's wild out here right now. So I was there all day. I got the old school logo. I got the new one. Like, we were repping all day today.
I love it so much. It warms my heart, my Hoosier heart.
Your hometown, man.
Exactly. Growing up in the outskirts of Terre Haute the way that I did, and even spending some of my early years right there, catching more basketball games. And then I used to, back in the day, the Colts used to do some spring practices out there. So I definitely
practice at Rose-Hulman.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot more football and basketball in my day, but I love it. I actually had some family and friends. I reposted your videos on Facebook, and so it was pretty cool.
The winning out was awesome. Then finishing it off is pretty awesome.
Yeah, very cool. And honestly, I'm bummed to hear that it's next weekend because shameless self-promotion. I will be doing play-by-play for the Carnage Fight Series on Saturday night, but so I'm on the wrong end of Indiana. Otherwise, I'd be right there with you, and we'd be going live on multi-platforms.
It'd be a hell of a time, my friend. Be a hell of a time.
We'll see. Maybe there will be some time for a Sunday game. We'll see what happens. But for now, what we are here to talk about is the NBA Finals.
NBA Finals, baby.
Game
Kev,
2.
What is the old saying you repeat all the time? Is it something like a series doesn't start until the home team loses?
That is correct. Oh, wait, sorry. Yes, and so the series has begun. And Lee, as he points out, maybe all the big-time sports announcers will quit punking my heat for a day or two. Joy Taylor and Lee Harding are the only fans. Now, I do know one. Shout out to Chris Lewis, C-Lou on Twitter, the host of the Horseshoe Pride podcast that I get to do every once in a while. It's a Colts podcast. He is a huge Heat fan. I'm not sure how my good friend who lives in the Pacific Northwest and is a Colts fan is somehow also a Miami Heat fan, but I am not going to hate him for it because, I lived in Indiana and rooted for the Montreal Canadiens back in the day. So, it happens. Right. It happens. We all have our reasons. Maybe it's a family thing. Lee says we grew up calling that town Terra. What's it?
Terra Dice, Lee. It's Terra Dice.
I may have told this story before, so forgive me if I have, but my very French grandmother grandmother came to visit from Canada once when I was a kid, still living in Terre Haute. And
Mhm.
she, at the border, they asked her, where are you going? And so she pronounced it in French, I'm going to Terre Haute. And they're like, huh? You're going where? She's like, to Terre
What?
Haute, she's like,
Out.
how do you know? It's on a map. Like, how do you not know how to say it? He's like, oh, you going to Terre Haute? And she's like, Tabarnak, which is a word. It means motherfucker. So if you ever hear that one, that's a French
Your
lesson today.
grandma, man.
Yeah. I learned all the best French
Oh my
words from
goodness.
grandma. So there
That's
we go.
great.
Little Indiana talk here to get us started. But
Mhm.
I unfortunately predicted the Nuggets to win this game. I know you did
Yep, I
too.
did too, man.
I did write an article this morning for Last Word on Hoops where I talked about how the Heat would
Mhm.
win, and it included Max Strus hitting jumpers. Oh,
And
Caleb
Max Strus hit jumpers.
Martin did not really hit jumpers, so
He
that
didn't
one.
take many. He hit a monster one in the fourth quarter, though. He hit that big one in the left corner off the offensive rebound, step back into it. That was a big shot.
Oh yeah, and then the uptick on the defensive end. I mean, the only
Uh-huh.
way for a
Yep.
team that's that undersized to make a change defensively outside of X's and O's is with physicality. And that's what
Mhm.
they did. We saw them. I mean, shoot, even in the last minute there was a moment where, of course, Jeff Van Gundy's calling for the foul, right? You're up 3. He
Mhm.
wants you to foul.
Which
We can.
I think in that, I mean, let's have that debate real quick. Would you have
Yeah.
fouled there?
I don't mind. We've had this debate earlier, I think,
Yeah,
on this
it's
show where I don't mind it. Like if I have the ball, I hate it, and you're a coward, But
yeah.
if I'm on defense, then it's strategy, and it's probably the right
I
decision.
I
Either way,
think
you're
I'm
extending the game, though. So
Yep,
where are
that's
you
the
at with it?
thing. The way they were running, it was quasi fast break. Then they went in like, man, I actually don't like foul. Like I like that they didn't foul there because they didn't ever seem like they were set, knowing what they were doing. Like I thought Denver should have called time as soon as the joke or Jamal Murray didn't get anything out of that first push it down. I think they should have called
Mhm.
time out and set something up. Now, to his credit, his shot goes up, and I'm like, oh God, that's going in. Like it was
It
perfectly on line.
it looked good. It looked
Mhm.
true. It sure did. But even in that sequence, Jimmy reached. I mean, he didn't get
Mhm.
called for it. He poked
Yep.
it loose, but that's what they were doing a lot more
Mhm.
of tonight. And that's where you talk about the physicality. It's not just pushing dudes, shoving them around. It's,
Mhm.
taking some chances. There were some moments I think I tweeted it, so it's not here in my notes, but there was a big point where I want to say it was Kyle Lowry kind of softballed a cross court pass to
Mhm.
Gabe Vincent, and KCP did not. He should have stolen that pass, and it should have been 2 points the other way, but
Mhm.
he didn't, and it might have been vice versa. It might have been Vincent to Lowry. Either way, it ended up in a contested 3 that was good for Miami. So like a 5-point swing. So I
Big
didn't
swing.
see the same aggression defensively. Now, early on, Miami could do nothing to stop Denver. We saw that. I don't know if you got to see this highlight, James. You might have been watching basketball or baseball at the time, but that one-handed pass from Jokic
I
in the
saw you
short roll.
tweeted. I haven't seen it yet. He's a sicko. I did notice though he didn't have as many assists tonight. Kev, what was going on there?
Yeah, he didn't have as many. The ball wasn't in his hands as much, and when
Mhm.
he was looking to score a lot more tonight.
And he had
He
41. I mean, he had
Yeah,
41 on 28 shots. That's a big number.
so I mean, so when I say he didn't have the ball in his hands a lot, I guess that's
Well,
but
I think what you
it's
meant was, like you said, is he was scoring more. Like what I
yeah,
watched in the fourth, he was scoring all the time. He wasn't passing too much.
we weren't seeing as so much of the Jokic bringing the ball up the court like we've seen
Mhm.
before, running the
Yep.
two-man game with Murray. I saw a lot more guys get involved. We had Aaron Gordon hit a big 3 late to keep things close. I actually kind of thought I would see I expected a little bit more from him, I think, just after that early run in game 1. I was like, "Oh, they have no answer for Aaron Gordon because Miami has no one."
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You can
Yeah.
put Jimmy Butler on him, and then what? Um,
What was? Yeah, I see Aaron Gordon at 12 on 7. He hit a
Duncan
big 3 late.
as
I
oh,
kept
go ahead.
seeing everywhere that Duncan Robinson was a
Yep.
big deal. He had
Big
played
third
7
quarter.
minutes, 10 points, 4 or 5, like pretty good numbers. Like I said, I saw him get a layup in the fourth. That's all I saw.
hit a couple of threes as well, and they were off the dribble threes. I think Johnny Football in our Discord,
Mhm.
as he's like, Duncan Robinson's improved off the dribble, and then as
Man.
I was typing a response, he shot another one, which was just he wasn't even going anywhere with the dribble. It was just
Mhm.
he's a couple feet behind the line, he's got a man in his face, and he just kind of looks up and says, you know what, I'm gonna pull it. And that's what Duncan Robinson is. He's streaky.
Mhm.
He's the epitome of
Yep.
streaky. When it's bad, it's really bad, and it's,
Mhm.
Katie, bar the doors, because the basketballs are going to be flying. Shout out to Keith Jackson. But when it's good, it's like, holy crap,
Yep.
he's wet as water out there. But
Yep.
it was just a little spurt, but it was enough. I mean, 10 points. You had
Mhm.
9 from Lowry off the bench. Martin had 3 in 21 minutes. What I was very
Yep.
surprised, though, Haywood Highsmith, who was one of the bright points from Miami,
I've seen that too.
nothing. He didn't
6
he barely
minutes.
played. No
Um,
shot attempts. Complete inverse.
Yep.
Game 1, he was the only aggressive Miami Heat player with the
Yep.
ball in his hands, and now he didn't play. I know you
I
talked
s-
about the Kevin Love thing.
Yeah, Kevin Love started. Took 9 shots. You haven't seen him since mid-Celtics series, so he got 22 minutes. He had some good. I said
Needed
I saw the
size.
starting lineups and I saw him and I was like, what the f? But you're right, size there.
Mhm.
Yeah, he hit 2 for 6 from three. He was he's plus 18 in 22 minutes. You can't fault. Like that's pretty freaking impressive.
And he did get crowned from Mark Jackson, as he is now officially the greatest outlet passer of all time, which to some of us, glad you're catching up, Mark. But,
Yeah,
hey, I didn't see Wes Unsled play. I can't
yeah,
even pronounce his name.
yeah.
S
Unselled, I think. Right?
Unselled, yeah.
Unselled, I think.
Unsled
Yeah,
is what I said. Wes
quite a bit
Unseld.
earlier than us.
Yeah. So, anyway, mama, there goes that man.
Mhm.
Kevin Love, greatest outlet passer of all
I
time.
see Gabe Vincent had another big night.
Yes, he did. And
23 points on 12 shots, 8 of 12, 4 of 6 from downtown. He's been, I mean, him and Bam have been their best 2 players, the most consistent players in this series so far.
Bam has got to stop settling for those pull-up
Yep.
baseline jumpers. All
Mhm.
right. The turnaround from the foul line is ugly, but because the backboard's there, there's a lot more room for forgiveness.
You can get lucky.
And he gets the members roll a lot more than he
Mhm.
should.
Yep.
But those pull-up jumpers from the baseline, no. I'm sorry. That's a shooter's shot. All right. Like, baseline jumpers are for guys who don't need the backboard. And I'm
Mhm.
sorry, Bam, but that's not you at this time.
Yep.
So that was when Denver made that run. What was happening was so many pull-up jumpers. That's when I tweeted, the road to Cancun is paved
Mhm.
with the bricks of pull-up jumpers, because that is when you start to settle like that, they started
Yep.
to again look like a team that only shot 2 free throws. They
Mhm.
started to look like that team a little bit there in the 4th. Yeah, John is right. Gabe is getting that bag. They talked about that.
Undrafted dude. He's playing. Man, he's playing good.
He's going to get that. I wonder how much of this is going to be like a Linsanity situation.
Mhm.
Is Gabe Vincent going to, like, are we seeing the ascension of a star, or are we just seeing
I don't.
a role player have a good run?
Everybody talked about Caleb Martin's big Eastern Conference, as they should have, but Gabe Vincent was really good in the Eastern Conference Finals too.
Yes. Yep. He
And
has
now
done
he's
it.
proven it's what he had 19 in the first game, I think 23 here, so he's averaging 20 in the finals. Like, oh man, he's looked good. I saw him hit a couple threes. Struess was back tonight, 4 of 10, 40% from three, only 3-pointers. I figured he would come around. He had 6 assists too. The shots he was missing in game 1 were most were pretty good shots. They just didn't go in.
Yeah, like that first one from the night in game 1 was a good,
Yeah.
like, wide
Yeah.
open pull up from the foul line. Should have been
Yeah.
money, just a
He
little
had
strong.
that step back, the shot fake step back 3 on the right wing, which usually goes in. The 2 numbers I notice right now, just without, I'm going to watch this game, the full game tomorrow, but I see 17 of 35 from 3, 48.6%. So their 3-point shot came back in full force. And then they shot 20 free throws compared to 2 in the first game and hit 90% of them, which is your game right there. So they made 6 more threes and made 1 less free throw.
I like this here as John, in reference to the Gabe Vincent of it all, says Jalen Brunson's big
Yeah.
games never felt real in Dallas, but he turned out to be a legit offensive engine.
Mhm.
That is true.
I'm
Yeah,
talking about
I
a
will give you that.
guy like Gabe Vincent, like you got to keep him. Miami,
It
like you
could
undrafted, you got him, you developed him, he's got to stay.
to keep it within this game, and just to scroll down here, there's a little guy by the name of Jamal Murray who, although, I mean, what did he get drafted? 7th overall? I
Yeah,
mean,
he was a high draft pick.
he was not an undrafted kind of guy, but he
Very
had
similar.
his outburst in the playoffs a few
Mhm.
years ago in the bubble. Some of you perhaps remember that. And it a torn ACL kept it
Yeah,
in limbo for 2 years. It's
delayed
like,
him for 2
is this
years.
real
Delayed
or
his
what?
arrival for 2 years. You know.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with John. I do. He feels. I don't think he's as shifty. And I don't think he's at the high end possibilities, but he's good, man. Like he's heady. He's not dumb. When he shoots it, it always looks like it's going in. He makes
He's
good
getting that.
winning
He is getting that
plays.
confidence now. I don't
Yeah.
know if you saw this play. There was a play. I want to say it was Christian Brown that came, who played well for his own right tonight
Yep.
for a young kid. I mean, I didn't expect him to fade if he got a chance. I mean, talking about a guy who played on some very deep Kansas
Yeah.
teams. You know, played in very important games. So, but there was one where Brown comes running out at him, and Gabe shoots it and he hits it, and he does that thing. James, I'm sure in your playing days you did. I know I was a big I was guilty of doing this, but when you're feeling it and you just give the guy a
Mhm.
stare down, like,
Yep.
why did you bother even running
Yep.
out at me? Kind of with like,
Uh-huh.
a little half grin out the side of your face, like,
Yep.
dude, yeah. And the camera caught it, and nobody said anything about it on the broadcast, but I was like, oh, okay, like this is a new Gabe Vincent that we're watching. This is what
Mhm.
like when you get the opportunity that he's been given,
Yep.
because Hero and Oladipo were hurt. He's got a longer leash than he's probably ever
That's
had
yep.
throughout the regular season. It
He's
allows him to
averaging
play with confidence, allows him to play through
mhm.
mistakes and be like, oh yeah, I am that dude. And
Yep. He's
look out,
averaging
man.
4 more points per game in the postseason. He's shooting 7% better from 3. Way more shots, obviously, with Hero out. And then, so I got the final stats. He's averaging 21 a game on 56% from 3. He's 4.5 of 8 per game, 100% from the free throw line, 4 assists a game. Whew. It's interesting, Kev, because we talked about the Tyler Hero thing. Like,
They do need him though. I
they
think
do need the shot. It's just like Vincent and Struss have been great for him. Caleb Martin obviously proved his worth. I'm interested because he's gonna be coming back soon.
he's going to be
They're gonna
coming back.
try. They're gonna try.
Yeah, I think where they need him a little bit is, a little bit more shot creation off the dribble, stuff like
Mhm.
that.
He's proven he's 20 point a game. Like he shoots the piss out of it. He's a
Yep,
40% 3-point shooter.
and at this point, especially now with the confidence after a win, I do think, I mean, this is still the same advice I've been giving them. Like, he should play no more than 20 minutes his
Yeah,
first game back.
He should be coming off the bench, and he should actually probably have an extremely short leash. I think that's going to sound very counterintuitive, but we don't have time to work through it in the finals.
Yeah, early on, yeah, you don't. Although I think, there were 8 minutes that Cody Zeller played tonight. You can probably just hand to Tyler Hero, because you might as well have had Hero on Jokic when you had Zeller out there.
What are you talking about? Cody Zeller was 2 for 2, minus 14.
I'm a Hoosiers fan, okay? So it pains me to have to do this to a Zeller, all right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's time.
This ain't the series for him.
It's not. If you can continue to get 20 minutes out of Kevin Love, who was not
man,
great.
That's good for Kevin Love, by the way.
10 rebounds, 2 steals, you
6 points, he hit 2 threes. Like,
I can't understand where the 3-point shot has gone from Kevin. Like, he
know.
is very streaky for a guy who shoots most of his shots wide open from the corner. I don't understand
he's a career 40%er, right? Let's pull this. I bet he is. He's got to be.
He is down. While you pull that up, I think, I mean, Highsmith only getting 6 minutes. I don't know. Caleb Martin getting 21 minutes. Lowry getting 24. I think with Hero back, you can skim several minutes off of both of them. I think you can find room for Hero in this rotation. It's just about when you do it. because it is going to be so hard to get back into the game flow. In my opinion, the roles have changed, right? Like Gabe Vincent's role has changed since Hero played with him last. So there's a new pecking order, sort of.
Yep, you're absolutely. That's my worry, is just the way the roles have changed and how do you adapt, and then you add in he hasn't played in 6 weeks. It's tricky,
and he can't come out and be passive either. You're not Tyler Hero if you're passive.
You can't have passive.
So it's that. That will be very interesting. Now, if they had lost tonight, I would be saying, "Oh, you need Hero. You need it. You need it."
Yeah, that's my thing. They won.
But now they won, so now I'm kind of back to the same take we had a week ago.
Yeah,
of could Hero actually mess this thing up if he gets too much playing time and the rotations get wonky? Yeah. Lee says Kevin Love is old. All he can do is pass. Yeah, he still got that, man. He still got that stationary one-handed football pass. He's their
leading rebounder tonight, so
which
found 10 in 22 minutes is pretty good.
I mean, I guess Bam did have 9.
Yeah, Bam had 9, so he's
it's crazy. I mean, it's hard because of what Bam has taken on a lot extra offensively. He's done great. I mean, he's had some turnovers, and of course, when he's playing against Jokic, of course, he's going to be second fiddle when it comes to who's the best passing center in the. But Bam made some really you talk about I don't know if this was the Duncan Robinson layup that you saw, but one of them came off a nice curl off a cut.
I think that's what I saw.
And Bam set him up with the great bounce pass. Like he really does well in that role. I'm
pretty sure that's one I saw. Yep.
But I understand why it's happening, but I really would like to see more rebounds from Bam. But you need it in Miami. Where else are you going to get it? Because you really, I don't see how you can continue to play Cody Zeller.
You can't. If Nikola Jokic is out, you can put him in with an I don't know who he guards. Those 8 minutes, it's so valuable. When you're talking about a 3-point game, every minute counts.
Yeah, I'd feel more comfortable with Jimmy Butler on Jokic at this point over Zeller. At least he's going to body him up and go for a steal or something.
Jimmy was pretty good in the fourth from what I saw. How was he in the first 3 quarters? Did he look more?
It wasn't great again. I think Legion Hoops had his first half stats weren't great. I don't have the tweet.
21 points on 19 shots. He's 9 assists though. Let's give him credit there.
Oh yeah, he looked better as well. And there were, I don't know, like I said, I liked what I saw on the defensive end. He was active, he was getting after it. And we had, like I said, we had other guys stepping up. When you get 21 from Bam, 23 from Vincent, you like that, because there's gonna be a night where in order for the Heat to win, Jimmy's going to have to go off for 40. So if they can win on a night when he scores 21 on 19 points, that's great. Because he hasn't been great the last 2 games, which means one is coming, either game 3 or game 4. I really expect to be
a game coming.
Exactly. So I don't think you could have drawn this up better. The only thing the Heat could have done better is maybe they'd have liked to see Butler and Adebayo not in the 40-minute range getting this win.
That's a lot of minutes. But like we talked about,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's that time of year. It's time to play. The announcers were talking good things about Kyle Lowry in the fourth quarter. He made a couple of good plays. I don't know. His stats aren't great, but they talked a big game about him. So was he good? Like I said, I missed.
It's very interesting. Yeah, you look at the stats and you're not quite sure, right? Because he was negative 15. We want to talk about. I said Zeller's unplayable, and he's only negative 14.
Yeah, he's worse.
But he did. Now the turnovers were what concerned me with Lowry.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Yep. So, and then I just defensively, he's just all right. And he had a couple of foul calls.
He's old. He's pretty old.
He's old. So I would like to see him play less than 24 minutes going forward. I think that's another one. That's where Hero steps up again.
There's minutes that can be stolen. Yeah, for Hero. Yeah.
Someone explained to me why Haywood Highsmith was not worth playing tonight. I don't get it. I wonder if I missed something.
Can't question Spoelstra. Like we said, Haywood did a lot of his damage in the fourth quarter in that last game when they were trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, so maybe he's just not truly
Yeah.
a part of this
Mhm.
rotation, but
Yep.
I don't know. I saw, he doesn't have a ton of size. He's pretty
Mhm.
small for the forward position, but he's bigger than Kyle Lowry, and
Exactly.
I thought they could use some not only some size, but again, now granted, they were more aggressive offensively, which was
Mhm.
another thing that was huge. I mean, I, I didn't set any breaking news when I said that the Heat would need to shoot more than 2 free throws tonight if they were going to
Yeah.
win.
Yeah, it wasn't
I think
rocket
I
science.
think we all figured that one out, but
Yep.
so maybe that was some of it too. Because I don't know, maybe you've done that in your coaching career. There have been times bench players get put in to prove a point. I need somebody. You
Mhm.
guys are too
Yep.
passive. You're too worried about losing your spot. I'm gonna get the guy. I'm gonna put this guy in who's got nothing to be afraid of, and he's just gonna attack it. So,
Looks like Lee here is calling a Heat finals win.
ooh, I like this. What's he say? 2-2 after 4. So I see 2 out of 3 for the Heat in the last
Okay.
3.
Mhm.
Okay,
I feel way
Heat
less
and
good about.
7.
I feel real, but I don't feel near as good about my prediction now, as I modified it to 5. So the Nuggets have to win the
Ooh.
next 3. Ugh.
See, this is why I stayed pat at 6, baby. Nuggets and
Yeah.
6, but with the disclaimer of if it goes to 7, give me
Then you take
Spo.
Yep. Yeah,
Give me
absolutely.
Spo.
Other things I see, Michael Porter Jr. was not near as good tonight. 2 of
My
8,
Yeah,
5 points, only 6 rebounds,
it's 2 nights in a row
no
in this finals.
blocks. Um, Murray was just all right, 18 on 15 he had 10 assists from an offensive perspective. Caldwell Pope did no. That 3-point number is the one. The Heat's 3-point barrage came back. Their playoff tear was back in full force.
Yeah, and we did not
Caleb 2,
see
Butler 2, Gabe Vincent 4, Struss 4, Duncan Robinson 2, Lowry 2, Caleb Martin 1. That 3 Caleb Martin hit in the fourth was huge.
Yep, he didn't shoot many, but the one he hit was key. Yeah, and
Yep.
that yeah, Lee's right.
He's the anti-bounce right now.
And with Braun stepping up, I mean, I guess he did only have 6 points, but I mean, he was impactful in those 15 minutes. Unlike, which is weird because Green had 9 and well, 6 of them were free throws. Maybe that's why I don't remember. I was like, I don't even remember
Mhm.
seeing Green do anything other
He's
than
yeah,
get picked up off the
he had
court a
the
couple times.
6 of 6. He had the second most free throw attempts in the game behind the Joker. Hit them all. Jeez, I always
But
forget he even is still playing.
one of
Bro,
the one of the spots that I thought was interesting was Bruce Brown, who had a big impact in game 1. There were
mhm,
instances late in this game where the Heat were not even guarding him. He was standing in
mhm.
the corner wide open for 3.
He
Nobody
had
wanted to give him the look.
he
Now
had
when
that
that
monster 3 in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, he hit some big shots in game 1. Now, it should be noted that in the instances where I noticed Bruce Brown was wide open, Murray hit the threes that he took. I think one was Murray, one was Gordon.
Mhm,
So all comes out in the wash there. But it was a bit of a head scratcher for me when you have a guy who was a bit of a difference maker in game 1 and the other team, rightfully so, because they can't guard Jokic. They have to double team somewhere. They were getting
mhm,
into zones, but they are leaving this guy wide open. Get him the rock. Let him shoot a couple.
mhm,
He was 1 of 3 from 3, so it's not he did get a couple, but I don't know. I think there are some areas there where the Heat are doing a horrible job of covering the corners. Even in
mhm.
that one-handed pass to Jokic, I mentioned it in my tweet that if he had wanted to, he could have skipped it cross court to Porter Jr., who was just as wide open in
Yep.
the corner. They were just luckily the Heat adjusted because in that first half, it really for a minute looked like they were just on a carousel, and there was no way
Mhm.
they were gonna. It looked like this was gonna be a sweep there for a while in the first half.
Yeah, I saw the Heat blew out the gates. We're up 16-7, something like that, and then at halftime, the Nuggets were up 12-14.
Yeah, the Heat went from it was like a 21 point run
Yeah,
or something. They went from being
gangbusters,
up 11 to down 10 or something. It
really
was
quick. Yeah.
atrocious. But then, they made some adjustments. They played much more physically on the defensive end, got more
Mhm.
aggressive, unlike Denver, who I mentioned had opportunities to get in those passing lanes, and
Yep.
they didn't. They seemed to
Mhm.
kind of sit back. Now, Late when it mattered, Miami really couldn't get a stop, and Denver was able to crawl
Yeah,
back.
yeah, it was a 12-point game, and the Nuggets hit back-to-back threes, and then got another. Then I think it went back, but that's how they got to the 3-point. It was a 12-point lead that careened all the way down to 3 points, and Jimmy Butler misses that shot in their last possession, and the Nuggets took it. And I mean, wasn't a great look from Jamal Murray, but man, it looked like it was going in. It was online and hit the front of the rim.
Yes, it did. It almost rang true. Well, I can't believe we're here, but now it's a series.
It's
like
a
you
series, man.
said.
Like, yep, you called this. You're the age-old adage of Kev and Nevick is not a series until the home team loses a game, and we are
now
live
sometimes
now.
when that happens, the series is already over because it doesn't happen until game 4 or game
Usually
3.
Game
And
3,
it's,
yeah.
but
the Nuggets Lakers series, it never happened. It was never a series.
it was never a series.
Sorry,
But
LeBron.
yeah, with that in mind, we should look forward to game 3 and beyond. Now,
Yep.
I will leave it open. So if you have any tweaks to your overall series prediction, feel free. But with the focus on game 3, where are you leaning, James, with this one?
My original prediction was Heat or Nuggets in 6, and I got greedy and moved it to 5, and now I still lean toward Nuggets in 5 or I think 6, but that game 3 is massive now, and the Miami crowd down there is going to be nuts. That's going to be a hard game for Denver to win, but it's invaluably important right now. But Lee could be right. The Heat could win that, and then the Nuggets take that to game 4, and all of a sudden it's 2-2, just like he talked about. And all of a sudden now you're a 3-game series, and it's just this whole series is so interesting. You got the best team for most of the year in the league versus a team that got asininely hot. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm using it. And lost multiple players and just kept winning games.
Yeah. The team that's this is the Heat team we expected last year in the playoffs, when they were a top seed. This is what we expected from them. So it is tough. With game 3, this is interesting because I thought all throughout I had Miami winning game 3 because I genuinely thought
you've been very open about
Denver's
that.
Gonna win. Denver's gonna win games 1. I thought game 2 would be a lot closer. We'd see Miami make adjustments, but that Denver would outlast them. But that coming home to Miami, potentially the return of Tyler Hero, that would be enough energy in the building. Miami absolutely would win game 3. I think they would win game 4. As Lee says, they have the better coach.
There is no question, Spoelstra, and it's not a shot at Mike Malone, or it's Mike Malone, right?
Yes, Mike Malone.
Yeah.
It's not a shot. Yeah, he's one of the
Eric Spoelstra is the best in the business.
Mike Malone's great, and he showed you how great he was with time. Like when they had those days, they were able to counter everything Miami wanted to do within a couple of plays. Like, did you see that tweet that went out where Jokic is on the foul line and he sees Kyle Lowry make a hand signal, and then Jokic starts throwing up the pistol behind him? It was the play that ended with Jokic tipping a pass and Bam Adebayo bobbled it out of bounds. It was
I did not see that. No.
So basically, yeah,
I know the play you're talking about.
They were so well prepared. They saw a hands, which, I mean, this is normal stuff. This isn't like it never happens, right? You see it more probably in football where you're like, oh, this D back, or they know our signals. But they were so well prepared that they saw a hand signal. They called you can go back and watch it. You see Jokic just like doing this the whole time while he's waiting for the ball to come.
I know what player I know you're talking about because it gets Bam tips it. It tries to get it. Gets out of bounds. I know exactly what I just.
They were right on top of it. So they were. But here's the thing. Now we're on level ground. We all have the same amount of time to prepare and the same amount of game film to look at. And when it's on a level playing field like that, I just think Spo's the better coach.
Yeah,
I think he's better at the in-game adjustments. We've seen it in other series too. I know Mike Malone got very upset with how much the media wanted to talk about all the adjustments the Lakers made in that game 1, but it's become a bit of a theme that these Nuggets, this Nuggets team gets a little too comfortable with a lead. They've blown many a lead in this run at this point. Now, a lot of times they bounce back, they win the game, or they hold on to win. But they are very susceptible to these runs, and you got to tighten that up if you're going to beat Eric Spoelstra coach team.
Yep, I agree. And
Oh,
Oh,
you
we
get
did
it.
this. Yep, we did the same thing. Lee's got an interesting take. Obviously, we did a bit on it. I don't know, man.
Our most disliked video of the month. But.
Yeah, I think you need him. I think you got to try to play him. I am very on board with the extremely short leash. Like, you need him to be aggressive and stuff, but you can't have Tyler Hero come in and go 0 for 10 from 3.
I think my thoughts are, because I agree with that 100%. I think maybe in this first game back, Hero comes in to give Jimmy Butler a break, and that's
I hate that.
So
take
that's
at all, yeah.
8 minutes to next game,
Yep.
and maybe God forbid Jimmy only play 38. Maybe you can get 10 minutes out of Hero that way.
It gives him a chance to be the alpha while Jimmy's out.
Yep, because that's where it could get messed up. I don't think you want to have too much Hero, Butler, and Vincent. Like, if we're playing 2K, great. Yeah, you want all the best players out there at once, but we're not doing that right now. So you want Hero to be there to fill those spots when either Vincent or Butler or maybe both of them are off the court, and say, okay, yeah, Tyler's going to get a shot up. And that way, if it is bad, you can call a timeout because it's Eric Spoelstra and not Mike Budenholzer, and he'll use his timeouts and he'll say, okay, Jimmy, we tried to get you 2 minutes there. Sorry, we're gonna have to put Gabe back, and we're gonna have to do something. But you can try it in these short little spurts, and then that way, if he hits 2 or 3 in a row, like, all right, cool, let's go, baby.
But you don't ride him. You don't put too much pressure on him. Don't ride out a bad streak. I actually really like that. This is completely off topic, but I just saw the highlights, so I'd say the Bam Adebayo dunk, the and one, was nasty. Now, Porter Jr. gets put on the poster, but he's just trying to save a play there. But that dunk was nasty.
That was nasty. I got to see. Look at this. We got Johnny says, I haven't looked at plus minus, but the Heat seem to fare pretty well in the non-Jimmy minutes. It's funny.
I'd have to look too. Like I said, multiple times I've missed a lot of this game.
Rob Perez at Worldwide Wob. You can check him out because he was tracking this. I want to say the first time that Jimmy was out, they were a negative something in the double digits, but the second time they were a plus 13 or something. So I do think they came out just barely in the positive, but it was a tale of two halves. When they first pulled Jimmy out, it looked like, okay, this guy's going to have to play every single minute. But yeah, they put that run together without him, thanks to Duncan Robinson, I do believe. I don't remember if that was the third quarter or I can't remember when he came out, but someone else stepped up and they were able to go on a run without him. Lee says Tyler and Lowry do not play well together. Yeah, that
I think Tyler Hero can take some of Lowry's minutes. I think they're fine with that.
I agree with that. Speaking of Lowry, this is not indicative of how he performed tonight, but I thought it was hilarious that Kyle Lowry got a push off against Jokic. He got a charge. Yeah, he got Jokic. He kind of got by him, and so Jokic is running along with the side, so he had his back turned to him a little bit, and Lowry gives him the shove off, and I imagine it was probably a flop because I've pushed off on a guy bigger than me many a time in my day, and they normally don't go flying that way unless they want to. Because Kyle Lowry is not the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. All right. Maybe if he were squatting, all right, he might be the world's strongest man when it comes to squats. But no, it was hilarious though to watch him just like, it basically looked like Derrick Henry out there. He looked like your boy.
It's my guy. It's my dog.
Well, so there we have it, folks. Let us know your predictions in the chat before we head on out of here. It's a little short episode. We are just doing these bonus bounces, as we like to call them for now.
That was good, man. That was good.
Thank you. We're going to be doing these reactions to every NBA game. I don't know if they'll be live. I hope they'll all be live, but at the very latest, we'll have them up next morning. And in the meantime, you can check us out next Thursday. But yeah, if you have any more questions, if you have your final take, your predictions, we got people on all three platforms right now. So we appreciate you hanging out with us. So while we do our farewells, this is my last call. If you want to get some questions in here, James and I got to go get prepared for the brutality that is a Monday morning.
A real world. So. Oh, God. We gotta wait till Thursday. We gotta wait till Wednesday. See, John, it's a hell of a comment. John, he was so good with that. And that was well done.
I'm working on it. One of these days I hope to be a pro. So, it helps.
Getting there.
So there we go. Well, I don't see any questions rolling in
Nope.
yet. So James, why don't you start by telling them where they can find you and what else you got going on?
Every day, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Schmeitz06. I took over Instagram today with a baseball feed on Bite Size. We're back here Thursday at 9, but we haven't talked about it, but we possibly will be live Wednesday. And I know you've got a busy Wednesday night schedule, but we'll figure that one out. Otherwise, there will be a Reacts video regardless before we go live on Thursday.
Yeah, we should be all clear there. It might be based on when it times out, it might start a little later than this one. I do a local recording on Wednesdays that usually wraps around 10:30. So yeah, we'll be here for sure. And before that, you can catch our dear friend Johnny NFL as well as Michael and Nick on Necessary Roughness on Tuesdays. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern as well. So make sure you are subscribed with your notifications turned on. And I believe this is a Wednesday week, so we should have another damn fantasy podcast lined up.
Yep, well, I think so.
For you.
I think they're back.
Ooh, we got a question before we can go anywhere. Who is your Game 3 X factor for each team? I love it, John. Thank you. This is a very good one. As I check my notes over here,
I'm gonna get you and then blow your mind here. Again, I've only watched one quarter of this. I'm gonna rewatch it tomorrow since I missed most of it. My Game 3 X factor for the Nuggets is Michael Porter Jr.
Yep, if he finds his shot, man.
His Game 1 to Game 2 stats. He had 5 less rebounds, way less points, no blocks. Like, I got to see the film to see how he was, but 26 minutes. Like,
he didn't shoot that well in Game 1, if memory serves.
He just shot a ton. But the big thing was he had rebounds and blocks. He had
his volume shooter badge.
Yeah. He had activated. No kidding, right? He affected the game for the Heat. Man, it's weird that I want to say Gabe Vincent again. I'm just putting a name out there. Like
Occam's razor, man. You know,
he's been so good. He's been so consistent for him. You know, Duncan Robinson's an easy one. Can he have another big impact? Is Caleb Martin ever gonna, is he gonna do anything? He hit a major 3. If Hero plays, it's almost him. Like it's a possibility it could be him.
Ooh.
What do you think, John or Kev? What do you think?
Let's see. Well, when it comes to the Miami Heat, they are holding out for a hero, baby. That is my X factor for the Miami Heat. But when it comes to Denver, I am going to give it to the Brown brothers. All right. I might be Christian. It might be Bruce, but that's going to be the X factor. If one or if both of them, if they can get a little more, they had 26 combined points off of 3 bench players. All right, these guys, they shot 39% from 3. Okay, if these guys can hit their open shots, Christian Brown didn't even take a 3. I mean, he can hit those.
He hit 2 last game, I think. Yeah, he's good, man.
Lee says Martin will have a good game. I hope so. We do need to see it, and he's due at this point.
Yeah, he's due. He was so good in the Eastern Conference Finals.
But yeah, I think if we see Hero's going to be our X factor. So there we have it. Game 3. We'll be here live afterwards. That's for sure.
I was wrong. Christian Braun hasn't hit a 3 yet. Brown, is it Braun or Brown?
It's Brown.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Braun makes. I called it Braun for a while until I was corrected.
He actually hasn't even shot a 3. So that's in the finals. He shot 35% on the season.
And then Lee says Gordon will be the X factor. We'll win the Nuggets game. All right. I like that. Yeah. So we've got Game 3 we'll be back for to finish it off. Yeah. And then Thursday, of course, we will be live again. And on the 9th, we have the Bite and Early podcast getting back
up this week.
Up and running. So keep on the lookout. I don't know when I'm going to fit in late night bites this week, but I do know that I watched highlights of Jimmer Fredette playing in the FIBA 3-on-3 Classic. And you guys,
shots.
Oh yes. Yes, he was. He's like the he's the Jimmer buckets, of the 3-on-3 world. My God, the dude can still fill it Phenomenal
got
stuff.
it. Still
I look
got it.
forward to looking at that and a bunch of other stuff with you guys. So again, the only way you'll know is if you're either following us on Twitter, if you're subscribed here with noties on, and then of course you can follow me on Twitter at @KevNevick_. Last pitch here Saturday night. Angola, Indiana. If you aren't watching the Sycamores win in baseball, you can come watch some kickboxing, but you can watch it from home if you want. I will be doing the pay-per-view play-by-play, and I might be doing the color commentary, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully we can
all-around man. You got
they just put me in front of a desk and say, here's 2 microphones, man. I shouldn't have done that with my hands, but you know what? That's a good time for us to leave. I thank you all so much for listening and joining. You there in the crowd, you in the comments, you make the show worthwhile. We appreciate you every time you join. Until next time, see ya.